So today we're going to be talking about Fantasy Delight some more. I'm going to talk about the theory behind the harmony, how it works and why it works, but most importantly we're going to talk about why I chose those chords and why it has the emotions that it has. So let's get into this a little bit. Reviewing from the last video, we've got this progression. So if we were to try and understand what's happening here, it's in the key of G minor, but it feels almost like it's mostly in B flat, but it never actually goes there. If you were to look at the first few chords, you might really expect it to resolve to a B flat major here, but it doesn't. So there's kind of these very slippery, juicy, incredibly jazzy, rich, dark, thick voicings happening, but with a lot of undirectionality. It's like they never really go to a certain place. There's kind of this fluid ambiguity when the same thing gets repeated again in the relative minor of G minor. And even if you were to look at just the bass motion of this, like if I were to take away the right hand and just play the bass notes, it feels very atonal almost. But with the harmonic contextualization, it gets that richness again, but it's like a floaty, very dreamy, smoky richness. And my favorite moment in this progression, and probably the most important part of the song, is this big release, the only release from this more kind of smoky, dimly lit thing when it goes to the major. Which is really interesting because everything about this is screaming minor, G minor, G minor, G minor. And all of a sudden you just contrast that with a major third and a major seventh, which all of a sudden sounds so up, heavenly, open, just uplifted, weightless, floaty. All this gravity that was on these lower suppressed intervals is suddenly released, and you just feel that rush of relief. You know, it's kind of like all of this is you spending time with that girl or guy and just wondering what they're thinking about, what's on their mind. And then finally you get that moment, maybe that little touch of the hand that just reminds you, oh, this is for real. She feels it too, he feels it too, I feel this. Excitement, tension, doubt, uncertainty. A fun uncertainty. I mean, you want to see what happens, you want to go through with it. And then finally that kiss. Oh, and it feels so good. So that's a little bit about where my head is at choosing these chords, and an introduction to how every chord and really every interval has emotion behind it. Why do these intervals and chords have emotion behind them? Every interval, and chords are full intervals, a chord is just many intervals put together, has a different physical amount of tension, just down to the way the actual physical vibrations rub against each other, and therefore yourself, your body, your ears, you name it. So different amounts of tension resonate the body in different ways and make you feel different things. So when you choose chords, above all else, above making sure it's in the right key, making sure it's been done before in a song, making sure it's theoretically correct, any of that, fuck all that. Above all, choose your chords because of how they make you feel. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. Much love. Stay swess, y'all.